Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of Capturing the Game. It's the Game Within the Game podcast. Today, just fine solo. It's just me and our two very special interns, Kyle and Taylor, who I'm going to introduce briefly. But today, we're talking about your favorite pair of sneakers, some shoes, whatever the highest kicks are out on the market right now. That's what we're here to talk about. So bringing in Kyle and Taylor. What's going on, y'all? How's y'all day doing today?
It's going well, thank you.
Good.
Oh well, here, man. Been excited to do this. We've been thinking about doing a quote unquote sneakerhead episode, so I'm glad we could have it come to fruition.
Right.
Yeah, man. I love kicks, man. So my thing is, what made you fell in love with collecting shoes? Like, what got you? What was that first shoe that had you like, yo, I want more?
I was in like 8th grade, and it was around Christmas time, and my brother was like, "Yo, Tay, like, what size sneakers do you wear?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like, I don't know. So like we went to like a sneaker store. You know how like they have like that silver foot thing like everywhere on the floor. So like we went to the store. He measured my foot and he was like, "All right, bet." So we left the store. We didn't even buy any shoes. We didn't even buy any shoes. So we left the store, and then Christmas comes, right? And he pulls out a box of Space Jams. And I was so hyped. I was like, what? Like, I still got them. Right? The very next day back when we went to break, I wore them. All the kids at my school, in middle school, they went crazy. Even some of the high schoolers that were upstairs, they went crazy. They was like, "Oh my God, I like your sneakers." Mind you, like, I don't even really know much about them, but I just knew them shits was fly. So I was like, thank you, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I go back home, I was like, right, oh my God, everybody complimented on my shoes. I was like, what are these? Blah, blah, blah. He was like, there's some retro Jordan 11s. He was like, yeah, those are fire. Those are like the new shoes or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But he was telling me all about the retro. So he was telling me from the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s. But he was like, 11s are like popular. Like, I'm not saying that all of the retros aren't popular, but like he was like 11s are like popular. Yeah. So I was like, okay. I was like, yo, I need another pair. He was like, well, like they don't really come out like every week type. So like they come out like on a special like year. So I was like, they normally come out in December. I was like, okay, the next pair that comes out next Christmas, I gotta get them. He was like, okay. Next Christmas comes, right? And he got me some cool gray 11s, and I was hyped. Okay. I was so hyped. So I was like, oh my God. So it kept coming, and it kept coming each Christmas. And then there's one Christmas, right? And it was the Bread 11s coming out. So I was telling my friends, like, yeah, I'm about to get them. Like, I'm about to get them, blah, 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 or whatever. And like the next Christmas comes, right? And the Jordan 11, Bread 11s were coming out. And he was like, I couldn't get them. I was destroyed. Like,
nice.
I was destroyed, right? And like the next day, well, not the next day, when school came back around from Christmas break, I seen everyone had the Bread 11s, and I was like, wait. I was like, in my head, I was like, none of y'all. I was like, none of y'all do not have any other 11s, but now y'all want to get some Bread 11s. I was tired, yo. I was so tired. I was hurt. I went back home and cried to my brother. I was like, yo, is there any way that you can get them? Can you go like to New York? Can you go to Jersey? Like, get them? Like, I was feeding.
Needed them.
I was feeding. He was like, that's too far. Like, he's like, I'm not doing that. So I had to skip out. That year on them 11s, right? And then after that, like in high school, I started like, in high school and middle school, I only had 11s. And then it was probably about like sophomore, junior year. Then I started getting, I got these Olympic 6s. And I knew they were coming out. So I begged my dad. I was like, yo, Dad, I need some money to get these sneakers. He was like, what? Why? I was like, because I want them. I was like, because I want them. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So he was like hesitant or whatever. And it was like the day before. And I called him up. I was like, yo, he's not trying to give me this money. So I called him up again. I was like, Dad. I said, Dad, what's up? Like,
Can I run me my money?
I was like, can I get him? Can I get the money? He was like, all right. So we went and got those. And then my brother and I, we went and got those. And he got those Olympic sixes for himself. And then I started getting some 12s. I got, should we like show y'all the shoes?
You got them.
This story is long. The story is long.
You can.
So
it's up to you. It's your story, your world.
Okay, I'll show y'all. So we went and got the sixes, the Olympic sixes, and then that's when I started getting more shoes other than like 11 and 6s. I got some 12s, and then once I started getting a job and making my own money, it was over. It was over, and that was like around. I got my first job like my senior year in high school, but I don't think any shoes like came out that I liked. So freshman year, there were these bread ones, and that's when I started becoming in love with ones. So I got these bread ones. I'll show you my collection.
Here we go.
They're in my brother's room because I have no space.
It's about to get real. She's taking over other people's rooms with their shoes.
Yes, I have no space.
That's how you know it's real.
How do I flip this camera? All right. So all here are my ones.
Yep.
This box.
In compartments?
Yes. All over there are my 11s.
Yep.
These are part of ones. Over here are my Dunks and my SBs. Those are Doc Martens, so those don't count. And then over there are like just the regular, Nike run sneakers. Yeah. And then I have in that corner over here is super dark. Those are like my retros, like my Space Jams and my ones, but they're disgusting. They're disgusting. Like I ran through them. And my brother would tell me like, you can't be wearing them every day. You got to take care of them because like in the future they're gonna hold value. Like he was just like teaching me about sneakers. But yeah, like once I started working and getting my own money, I started buying my own sneakers. I told my brother, I don't need you no more to buy my sneakers. Like I'm gonna depend on myself.
Okay.
And that's my story. That's my story, but it's hard now. It's tough.
Okay, we'll get into that in a second. So Kyle, what's your story, man? What was that first? What was that first pair of sneakers like for you, and how you grew up?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Like I that's something I ask my friends a lot. I was like, yo, bro, what was a sneaker that got you into sneakers? Because we all remember that.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that like growing up a lot, like I was always like just active, whether it was playing baseball, even playing basketball, like in the baseball off season, just to stay in shape. And essentially, if you don't get into sneakers, you at least become knowledgeable of them when you're playing the sport, because you need to know like what does this tech do? Do I need high? Do I need low? Do I need this specific color for this uniform? Right? If you cared about it that far, as far as like the look good, feel good, play good mantra. But for me, it was middle school, and again, I'd always been like sneaker adjacent. I think my dad had always been like sort of into them too. Growing up in like the 80s, 90s, when Nike and Adidas and even Reebok, they were all like really, really bumping. But it was in middle school where Nike basketball, from a technological standpoint, really, really like revolutionized the game. And what I mean by that was, at the time, and Taylor, you might remember this too, when we were coming up, a lot of these shoes were mad heavy, thick, they're like heavy sole, and it's like, bro, we used to hoop in these.
Yeah. For sure.
The Nike Kobe 4, released in 2008. And while I never owned a pair, right, it was like the first ever like low/mid-cut sneaker. And we were like, yo, like for basketball. And we were like, yo, Kobe, yo, he's bugging. Like, there's no way. Like, you're going to roll your ankle. But then he was like, nah, like what you need to do is secure your ankle, not necessarily the entire, like, all the way up to your shin, like a boxing shoe. But as long as you secure your heel, you're good. revolutionized things. And then kind of continuing on the same path just a year later, the Hyperdunk 2009. So again, these are very, very like driven, like rather athletically driven technological sneakers. But it's also funny because at the time we were dressing these up. We were wearing these with like bootcut jeans, and the jeans would like cover half the sneaker, but we were like, yo, I got the Hyperdunk stuff. But yeah, the shoe
And
that
looking back at it, it was a bad fit.
yeah, all bad fits, really bad fits. We were like, yo, what was we rocking, bro? But yeah, man, it was the Kobe 4 / the Hyperdunk 2009.
So you brought up a good point. So what shoes do you feel like has aged well, or what shoes haven't aged well? Is there a particular shoe that's like that, like you could rock this in back in early 2000s and it still holds value as it does today?
So Taylor, you probably agree the Jordan 1. What do you think?
Yeah, the Jordan 1. You can wear it back in the day and today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so, I'd probably say 11s too. I'm not gonna hold you.
For sure. Like the Jordan 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these, they came with white laces / also like royal blue laces, but I was like, bro, like,
oh, I'm mad you whipped it out like that. I'm just bad.
I was prepared for this. Jordan 1. So originally released in 1985. My dad never fails to remind me, like, oh, like, when I was in college, like those were released, couldn't afford them. But now he's got a few pairs, I've got a pair, and like it's really dope. Like, timeless, bro. Like Tinker Hatfield, the designer of the sneaker, snapped. Dude, 1985, but it's 2021. These still sell out within truly just seconds. So
seconds, crazy.
That one has aged well. That's a good question, though. On the other side, what has not aged well? Taylor, what do you think about that one? It's a tough one.
Maybe like 6s. No,
bulky
6s.
Shoes. Yeah.
6s, maybe 7s. Maybe even 8s.
So I think, well, a lot of the common denominator there of everything you listed was that they're bulky sneakers. And I think that when it comes to like fashion, because things, like they come in cycles, like when we're rocking, like let's say slimmer pants, right? And then the shoes look like boats on you, like like they didn't really age well.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing some people wear like fatigues with like massive leg hole openings. And then all of a sudden they're getting into like the chunky sole sneakers. I want to go back to one more sneaker that, of course, aged well, the Converse. Like, how could we forget the Converse? So, like, this one was a special one. Like, I saw this artist. He took the swoosh and then laser etched them with like a logo from Portland, Oregon. It's called Produce Portland. So they're like half of a supermarket, but they're also a consignment shop. But he like hand stitched this on, and he only made like maybe 25 pairs. That's their logo right there, Produce Portland. But yeah, I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up the Converse in a conversation of sneakers that
of course
that aged well.
Of course.
For sure.
Of course. So all right. So my biggest complaint about when it comes to buying shoes is how hard it is to obtain them. Do you guys have any secrets that you'd be willing to reveal of obtaining your sneakers nowadays?
I swear, I used to be good at winning raffles. I used to be good. Nowadays, I'm bad. Like, I'd always be on the Foot Locker app before I was even on that sneaker app. And I'll just like plug in my information. And then like, it'll tell you on Thursday if you won the raffle or whatever. I'll just go check my email and be like, yeah, you won the raffle. Like, and like back in the day when I used to win, I just knew I was winning. I was like, yeah, I got this already. I got this.
Size, right? Your size.
I got this already.
Right.
Like, yeah. And and it's my size. I'm a 6.5. So it's like my feet aren't all that big. But now it's hard. Even with the 6.5. It's just hard. So sometimes I just have to like take that L and just get it on StockX. Or I don't even know sneaker play myself, so I just got to take that out.
Yeah, so like for contextual purposes, like Desmond, just to your point, you were talking about how hard it is now. Like, it wasn't always this way. Like, it's become difficult, and so taking a few steps back, it used to just be like, let's say Foot Locker, first come first serve. We open at 10. People would line up at and it's like
camp outside.
Exactly. If I brought my lawn chair, I'm good. Right. And like, nobody's getting me. Like, I'm pulling up at 11 p.m. I got a couple of my boys, my homies, and we're just going to chill until opening. now like that had incited like a lot of like physical disputes, right? In
Yeah.
terms of like, yo, you put in the line, yo, you weren't here since this time. And
Yeah.
so these, again, just for context for those that don't know, like a lot of these
Mhm.
retailers have since transitioned to raffles. So instead of, and this is the example that I explained to like my parents, who they're like when they're like, I don't get, what are you signing up for a raffle for? Do you get them for free? It's like, no. So essentially, instead of having 1,000 people wait outside for 10 pairs of sneakers, this is just for numerical purposes. What they instead do is throughout that week, they'll have those 1,000 people come in on their own accord, on their own schedule, and fill out, like, let's say, a raffle form of some sort, or they do it on their phone, they electronically enter. So now it's just 1,000 digital names rather than physically there. And then those 10 sneakers in the inventory will randomly be selected. I say that in post because there's some boutiques and retailers that do backdoor a little bit for their employees and their friends, but friends and family. But yeah, and then they'll give them a pickup time, like, yo, come through, and then you can purchase the sneakers. So with all that said, um, yeah, if we had any secrets to purchasing sneakers, I mean, we'd share them, but there
I'll
are
tell
no.
you, but there's no secrets, I
There is,
swear.
like, literally as we're just talking about it, like I take an L on the Travis Scott Jordan 6. You're sitting
Wait,
there.
let me check.
Exactly. So I'm like, all right, well, like literally story of my life. And then something else that Taylor brought up was StockX. StockX is an aftermarket resale platform. They sell a lot of different things. And listen, like I've purchased off StockX. Usually, if you're talking to somebody that's been into sneakers a lot, they'll pay that resale price, and it hurts.
I
It
bid
It
hurts
though.
not
hurts.
I
only, it
bid.
hurts
I
not only
fight and I
financially,
bid.
not only does it hurt financially, like yo, emotionally, you're like, damn, like I gave somebody the satisfaction of making mad bread off of me, knowing that the retail was whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's if we had any secrets, we'd share them, but that's where we're at.
No,
That's where
I'm,
I'm at.
I'm glad. I'm glad we talk about it because I always feel bad looking at StockX for like certain pair of shoes. I'm like, yo, this is like the fail safe method of trying to obtain shoes, but you're gonna pay like outrageous prices for it. But you get what you want, So it comes a matter of how much are you willing to spend to get the pair of shoes that you want.
It's tough.
It's tough because retail be like, especially with dunks, retail be like 100, and then you gonna suck at, and that just be like 500, 600, a
Before fee,
thousand.
before New York tax, don't even start me on New York tax,
I'm
man.
like,
Off. Yo, New York tax of nearly 9% on a $700 sneaker, hurting. That's the retail price of the shoe itself. So
That's tough. So what other shoe releases are you looking forward to this year?
I was,
taking a
I
look,
don't know.
yeah.
I'd have to take a look, but
Okay.
right now, what I'm looking for some sneakers that already came out years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still expensive. They're called Nike Sakai's. They're
Yeah.
still expensive to this day, or waffles, whatever. They have like 2 different names.
I gotta look up a pair of those.
Yeah, so it's like Nike Sakai waffles, or yeah, those.
Those
I have to go
those
on
look mad
StockX for
comfortable.
these. Brutal. They are very comfortable, super light. Yeah, no, it was not.
They're expensive.
Yeah, Taylor, you brought up something so perfect. Going back on sneakers, right? I feel like a lot. There's been some really really cool stuff to come out this year, and will be coming out this year. But
Yeah.
I was talking about one of my friends. He's on the leadership team of a Nike store in Massachusetts, and we used to work together when I was out in Mass for college. And we've been making like a really really conscious effort to just go back on sneakers that we've missed out on. And it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
of course, it will cost a little bit more, but rather than
Mm-hmm.
try to play catch up every single Saturday for a sneaker that we may not even be like necessarily passionate about, as opposed to going back to like that 2017 release or even that 2019 release where it's like, no, like I've actually always wanted those. And rather than cop 3 pairs of sneakers that I'm like about just to stay up, stay latest, you can just
Yeah.
put bread toward a sneaker that you actually like for real care about. Like that Sakai was one example. Even this Kobe 5, like this was one that I had to go back on. And listen, like I so much care about these than, let's say, some, I don't know, bad colorway of whatever Nike that came out like last week. So
Yeah, I missed out on a lot of shoes. Like, I remember when the Sean Witherspoons came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know the ones I'm talking about? I wanted those. Those are still expensive to this day. Still expensive.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of non-Jordan sneakers that I want, like regular Nike shoes that
That's
I
the
want.
thing too. I'm trying to get into some sneakers that I can wear into like these maybe if not necessarily the office spaces, but more of just like they're a little bit more dressed up. Like, yeah, I'm kind of over if they're not a Jordan 1, I'm kind of over wearing retros that are mad bulky on feet if it doesn't go with my outfit, right? Because like, dude, I'm an adult. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm 25 years old. I don't need to be wearing, some bulky sneakers just to be like, yo, y'all kids got these. It's just like, like does it actually stream well with your outfit? I think that's what one priority has been lately.
Yeah. So, okay, so kind of switching gears a little bit. So, my biggest problem with sneakers is just trying to take care of them and the maintenance behind them. So, in case
Mhm.
you wear them, so like, school me, what's the process? What are the do's and don'ts for owning shoes and trying to take care of
Okay, so don't. I'm gonna give you a don't. When it's raining, don't try to wear any suede.
Nope.
When it's raining, don't try to wear any icy bottom sneakers at all. With the iciness, like if it's like real icy, it turns it kind of yellowish,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's just not it.
You like that, right?
So like when it's sunny, that's when you can wear like the suedes, and that's when you can wear like the icy bottoms. Only when it's sunny and when the ground is dry.
Mhm.
Like don't wear it. Don't even wear it the day after it rained. Like don't even do that.
Yeah.
That's just not it either. And just like watch where you're going, watch where you're stepping on. Like just don't try to step on any poop or don't step on any gum. Just look where you're going, to be
them?
honest. Kyle, what about you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you nailed it. Like anything suede, like even day after, where it's like you got to peek out the window, like what's the whole?
Yeah.
Big on cleaners. I love to just like hand clean my shoes, and just like I don't do it often. I maybe do it like twice a year, maybe. Like for real, like yo, I'm a big proponent in wearing your sneakers. Like hopefully in the crop version of when I edit this on Zoom, like this gets in there. But there's like a pretty big wall of sneakers, and like I'm not babying them. Like bro, like I wear my sneakers. A lot of my friends are like, yo, you're wilding wearing those, dude. They're
Yeah,
sneakers.
I don't get when
To be
people say
worn.
that either.
Exactly, they're meant to be worn, and from a
Like you bought to wear them.
yeah, exactly. A hand cleaning standpoint, Jake Smart, simple clean. There's a bunch of different cleaners out there, but this, I ain't gonna hold you. This is really just, I mean, it's just soap, bro. Really, I just top it for the brush. I think that the brush is great.
Oh, okay. That's the suede brush?
Yeah, so they have a suede brush. They also have a regular brush. The suede brush is great because it's softer on the material. This is like, honestly, I just kind of just clean my midsoles. Truthfully, like I drive a lot. I drive a lot here, so like let's say the back right heel of my sneakers will get dirty. I'm trying to find an example. Like maybe, let's say, no, those are pretty clean. These have been cleaned recently, but like that's just an example. Like, see how it's like a little discolored there, like lighting wise.
Yeah.
So that's all I do. Like, I just touch up like the midsole. The rest of it, I just let it rock. But yeah, I mean, do's and don'ts. Definitely hand with like a specific sneaker cleaning brush, and then
Yeah.
if it's like a cloth sneaker, like let's say you've got a triple white running sneaker, it's honestly safe to put them in the washer. Just put them in there by itself, remove the laces and remove the insoles. A lot of people are like, yo, but like I love triple white, but I just hate when they get dirty. If it's a running sneaker, like yo, you can throw them in the washer. Just maintain them, well. But yeah, do's and don'ts from me, an established former Nike athlete and foot action.
No, I like it. I like it. I clean my shoes at least once or twice a year with some of the cleans and stuff. So and I just, touch it up a little bit here and
Yeah.
there. I know some people that go through the whole process of saran wrapping their shoes.
Yeah.
And
Yo, that's crazy
it's,
because
I couldn't be bothered.
I was at a consignment shop with a friend of mine, and she was like, yo, how do they even wrap it up? I was like, to be honest, I don't even know.
Yeah, have you ever seen that? So there's like here in New York, there's just consignment shops truly every other block. right? And dude, I once watched this process where they have like the wrap out and they put it on like extremely loosely, right? So they'll put it on like just, and it looks awful. But then they take a blow dryer, and then that's how they get onto all the formulations and stuff. And
Ah,
like it's like an extremely
Mm.
hot blow dryer, and then it gets into like every single crevice, so that in these consignment shops, when people are picking them up, and like, oh, look at these $1,000 sneakers, which these are not, but they're like, they're not dirtying them and stuff. But yeah, that's the Saran wrap thing. Nah, man, like I said,
it'd be so clean,
yeah,
wrapped up well.
I wear all that stuff, so couldn't be me.
Yeah, it couldn't be me because I'd be damned if I'm about to go through the process of wrapping my shoes up every time I get done wearing them, just to preserve a color so they'll maybe fade as fast or whatever the whole purpose behind, wrapping the shoe. So yeah, I'd be damned if I'm doing all that. So I'm more like how I'm trying to, like, if I got the sneakers, I'm gonna wear them. Sneakers are meant to be worn and be shown off. So that's more so my forte. As I try to do. What are some shoes that you feel as though people don't really talk about that as much? Like one of my favorite pairs of shoes that I like to just put on to walk every day. I don't really own a pair, but it's the Adidas, the Ultra Boost or the Super Boost
Oh
or
my
whatever.
goodness, yes.
Those things are super comfortable, and I'm like
They look
mad.
comfortable.
I'm mad when I don't see more people wear them. Like just because I get the price tag on them, but they're just super comfortable and then super light on your feet. Like you're walking on legit air when you put
Mhm.
those things on. But
They look comfortable.
yeah, but what are some of those shoes that you feel as though people don't really pay enough attention to, or maybe is overhyped, is getting way more attention than it should?
Mhm.
That needs more attention, you said?
I say is either getting too much attention or needs more attention.
I
Mhm.
think a shoe that doesn't get enough attention that could possibly use more attention are retro Jordan 2s. And
Shoes.
I specifically don't have a pair, but if I had a pair, like best believe I'll be wearing them.
Mhm.
Because they're nice. I like the way they're formed, they're built. Like I like the style of twos, but I don't think they get enough hype and attention. What about you? What you think, Kyle?
Yeah, definitely. Got a couple examples here, but before I even get into them, Desmond, what you talked about with the Ultra Boost, bro, they might be like top two all time comfy.
They
With the other being the Vapor Max. Vapor
You
Max,
don't think so?
the Vapor Max is great, but I think the Ultra Boost is number one for sure. Ultra Boost is just, oh my god, like I don't have any current pairs in the rotation, but I've had as many as like three pairs at the same time. Yo, incredible. Just Adidas killed it with those. Thing is, they did so much so fast that now people are just like, yeah, I'm gonna just wait till they go on sale rather than like, sparse out Adidas sparsing out their releases and saying like, yo, like I need this colorway. Anyways, a sneaker that's overhyped for me right now, Dunks. Dunks are like overhyped right now because listen, like they're fly. Like something can be fly and be overrated, right? The two can exist at the same time. And the reason I state that, listen, it's great. Like it's a simple sneaker, low top, retail $100, like pretty good. Thing is, these used to be in outlets, not this colorway, but like this silhouette model of sneakers used to be in outlets
Yes,
for
sure.
$60, right?
Yeah.
Like several years ago. Now you're just going for 350 calm on a wet
Mhm.
7+ for a good colorway. So they're overrated right now, overhyped. Now underhyped sneaker that's actually by a black designer, Saya Collective, SIA Collective. It's a acronym for somewhere in America. So these are the lows, and he had a sneaker back in June during like the height, the absolute height of a lot of protests of Black Lives Matter movement protests. And what he did with these, so, and we'll get into this more later, but just the storytelling behind the sneakers. Um, as far as just like the knit that he used, like it's a multicolor knit that just has like it essentially speaks to just how like the diversity of the fabric of just America and Earth overall and the world overall. These are glow in the
Mhm.
dark soles. Like once I turn the lights off, and then when
Yeah.
you these with the flash, like they completely light up in like full reflective material. So that's dope. What he did with those is that all the proceeds from these that he raised were going to young black designers that wanted to start their own clothing brand, which I thought was really cool. So that deserves some more hype. And then same thing with these. This is the high version of that sneaker. This, I mean, Taylor, you know the Fear of God.
Essential.
Yeah, yeah. These like big remind me of those, but they're so comfortable. They're mad light. Like, yo, this is something I dress up for real. And obviously, like in the summer, I wear them with like shorts above my knees and then socks that stop right there. But then with
Yeah.
pants, like, yo, if they stop right here, like with some skinny denim or whatever, like, yo, these go hard too. But no, somewhere in America, Saya Collective, they deserve a lot more hype. Devlin Carter is his name. I want to say he's from Brooklyn and is now in the Bay Area, but he's got ties on both coasts. And yeah, I mean Devlin Carter, he's doing his thing.
Yeah, I think I stumbled across that Instagram page
Mhm.
during that time, and I was just looking through because he does his own custom design styles sneakers, right? So yeah, I saw him. I'm like, yo, I definitely want to pair of these shoes because these
Yeah.
are cool. These are different from any other thing that's on the market. I love the style of shoes. They're colorful. They got a little taste. They got a little flair to it. I was like, yo, I still want to expand. I'm glad you just reminded me because that may be something I may have to try to save
Uh,
up to try to do.
Very worth it. Very worth it. I've got a triple black pair in there as well, and they're actually water resistant, right? So you could just pour water straight in the toe box, even though it's the knit material, but it'll just
Yeah.
bead or splash right off. And I'm like, okay, word, I needed those. So yeah, yeah, definitely check them out. Saya_collective on IG.
Hmm. Yeah. And then Taylor, I'm glad you brought the twos because that's actually my very first pair of Jordans that I actually
Really?
bought for myself. Yep.
Nice.
It was the retros too. So it was the
Yeah,
very first
like they're
pair
mad
that I
nice.
bought. Yeah, I thought so too. I felt good when I made the purchase too. I was like, yeah, I got me a pair of Jordans. Let's
So Taylor,
go.
what was the first going back? What was the first sneaker you purchased with your own money? So for you, Desmond, it was the twos. What colorway, first of all, for the twos? Do you remember?
It, it was the retro.
Yeah. Okay. Word.
It's, it's,
My first.
it's white and red.
Got you. White and red. Yeah, yeah, like that Chicago color. For me, the
Hmm.
first sneaker I purchased with my own money was the Adidas Pure Boost. It was the first time that
Mm.
they came out with Boost overall. This is before the Ultra Boost even became a thing. But
Hmm.
everyone was turned off at first because they were like, "Oh, like it looks like styrofoam, the midsole," which I mean, at first it did. But the Pure
Yeah.
Boost, that was like the first on the Boost train. That was my first sneaker I purchased with my own money.
All right. So my first pair that I purchased, it was either freshman or I think it was sophomore year, to be honest. It were the bread ones.
Mm. Don't claim.
And
Dumb claim.
yeah. And yeah, I fell in love when I bought them. I did.
I can see why.
I love them so much. And I try to keep them as clean as possible. And I do be cleaning them, but I'm actually bad at cleaning shoes at the same time. So like after
I
I'm
said
like after I'm
they
done
look
wearing
brand new
them
to us.
today,
I know, right?
nah, there's still there's some dirt marks down here at the bottom, but
Now this
this
is
is my
just
first
shadowing the camera.
but yeah, like that's when I was really, really working. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to get them. I was like, Dad, I don't need you. I told my brother, I don't need you either. For your money.
What do you
But
so so let me ask you guys this. So what do you think if you used to project where the shoe industry is heading to next or where it's gearing up for, what do you think that would be?
Mm.
mm,
Yeah, I mean it's funny, like we talked about before, from a fashion standpoint, a lot of things are very cyclical, right? Like we weren't wearing like these mad big pants now, but a lot of those in the fashion industry are now. Like where they're wearing sneakers that or they're wearing pants that again cover half the sneaker again. It's like, dude, this is what we were doing like 15 years ago. So as far as like where I foresee the future of sneakers, I think two things. One of which was ahead of its time, the other of which I think maybe wasn't appreciated for what it was. The former on that being like the auto lacing sneakers. I think that that's going to be really really cool.
Mm,
I think that right now it's just too expensive. Like you see it on a lot of like, let's say, I mean, of course it was made famous by like the Air Mag and Back to the Future. And Nike's come out with like the Hyper Adapt and just a bunch of different sneakers that, you know, you can just control it from your phone. I think that will be really cool. Nike's done it with the Fly Ease, where you just stick your foot in, even with no technology from your phone to lock your foot in. But I think that was probably just a little bit ahead of its time. Once it's made more affordable, that could actually catch some waves. I think the latter part of what I was saying before would be the Nike's like Move to Zero campaign. Nike made a lot of space hippie sneakers. They had this whole collection on sneakers that were made from recycled materials, like waste from the ocean, and even just like waste overall, recycled rubber and stuff like that. And I think that they did so, again, just like Adidas kind of did a little bit. They did so much so quickly that they maybe were kind of underappreciated. They did ultimately end up hitting outlets, but I don't want that to be indicative of where we should be headed, at least. So maybe not to blur the line for me as far as like where I want things to go versus where I think things will go. I hope we kind of recycle a little bit more, because this whole sustainability thing, it's getting more and more in our face. So if a lot of these bigger brands aren't adopting it, then there might not be many more sneaker podcasts for us to record. So
So Taylor, what about you?
I don't know. I actually agree on what Kyle was just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what the future looks like. I don't know.
We wouldn't guess that dunks would come back, you know, but they did. So
right.
Yeah.
And they came out of nowhere. And everyone has them now. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I find that super fascinating. I think one thing that you will continue to see as, you know, technology advances is more tech inside shoes to get more, you get more data out of shoes, whether it be like really just the way maybe your foot hit the ground, or just kind of maybe adjusting the way like your foot responds to like the way you walk or the pressure as you hit the ground. Whatever the case is going to be, definitely, I think in the future you're going to start seeing more technology and involved in your shoe, whether it be, you know, be able to connect to via your app. Maybe you kind of mentioned the auto listen shoes like that, like they had in Back to the Future, which I always wanted a pair of those because I thought they were super amazing. And I think everyone pretty much wanted a pair of those because of the Back to the Future movie. But I think you probably see more of those just become more affordable because the tech becomes more available to everything.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, it's interesting you brought up like the tech standpoint from an analytic perspective. Taylor, I don't know if you remember these, but there was like a Hyperdunk like 2012 or something like that. And what you would do is that you would purchase this supplemental item that you would remove the insole from your Nike Hyperdunk sneaker and you put it into the shoe and then put your
it sounds familiar.
It was an oval shape. It was like Nike Plus, right? And
yeah, it sounds familiar.
With Apple at the time, but then you would put your insole back in, and then you would go out and hoop, and then they would assess like what your vertical was and like what it was wild. But it faded out extremely quick. I'm saying within like 10 months, which from a the standpoint for it to be a flash in the pan, that's a flash in the pan. So no, I mean, hopefully they could refine that. That would be really dope.
I do remember that because I always remember the shoes where you had to pump up your shoes. You pump up. Them on. Yeah. You pump up. They're supposed to give you extra vertical too.
Yeah. Big legend. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. You know, one thing that I am curious to see more, because I'm starting to see more and more designers like design or, you know, do their own color of their shoes and stuff. So they put like their own fan art from whether it be anime or whether it be like some type of symbol from like sports, whatever. Just people doing their own custom styles. So I think that's super dope, and I think it's also credit to the people that are artistic enough to do those things. So,
Kyle, what's your favorite pair, or what are your latest pair?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or what's your favorite and latest, whatever.
Yeah, let's see. Latest pair, these Clot Air Max 1s. What's interesting with these is that it's actually see-through. So I got to get some dope socks. But
what is that? Oh, is that the sole?
Yeah, this is the Clot Air Max 1. So these are totally transparent, right?
Okay.
So those are pretty cool. I got to get some dope socks. I got to go to like Stance or something and get some socks that, you know.
Yeah, to compliment this show.
What else? I mean, recently I showed them earlier. These Hyper Royals, really good.
I love those. I wish I got them.
Going in with the gray laces was a power move for me because I took the gray laces from the shadows because black laces in them. Gray laces.
What color laces did it come with? Just white?
With white and then the blue, and I was like, no. So
no, I don't like them.
Like I'm going gray, and the gray is definitely the move. But my favorite pair though, it honestly is the Jeter ones. The Jeter ones, they mean a lot to me. I got them via trade, so I think that even just the pursuit, the chase, and just how you obtain sneakers just means just as much as the sneaker themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
The last, for me, I haven't bought a pair of shoes in a while, but the last pair of shoes I bought was for T, was for her birthday. They were the Star Orange, I think it was a Star Orange 3s.
I gotta see what they look like.
Oh, those, yeah.
Let me see.
My laptop is right here. What am I doing?
So that's another thing. Sneakers always make for a dope gift. Even if they're not into sneakers, you know what I mean? Like everyone like wears them, even if you're not into them.
No.
Okay.
It was the Starfish 4s, I'm sorry.
Starfish 4s? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I've never purchased sneakers for somebody as a gift and had them be unhappy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, she was like, "Yo, I got these pair of sneakers. They go, they go with my WNBA hoodie." I'm like,
"Yeah,
all right." One, a holiday that I would love for them to do, now that people are becoming more and more aware of it, is a Juneteenth edition of a shoe. You know,
That'd be dope.
That would be super sick.
Yeah, I think they're starting to embrace this more. I know Nike took the Griffey, and what they did was, because Ken Griffey Jr. wore number 24, and he had one of the most iconic sneakers of all time, right? And what they did, because he wore the number 24 in his jersey, he had 24 in his sneakers. What they did for Jackie Robinson Day that just passed a couple of weeks ago was they put the number 42 on there instead, and that was really dope. I'd love for them just to, exactly to your point, do a lot more commemorative sneakers on specific days, but would still be proud to be worn all year long. That would be
yeah. Or even just do a tribute to certain, historical athletes that at the time they didn't get their own shoe because that just wasn't a thing back then. So maybe you do like a pair of Oscar Robertsons, or you bring out like a Jackie Robinson type cleat, or you bring out like just some memorable athletes from like historical athletes, and just to do a pair of shoes in their honor and stuff.
Like these brands could even have their estate be part of that design, and have like, let's say, some stories told on the insole or as part of the packaging. Talor, I'm sure you have some sneakers that they have some dope packaging. It's more than just a regular box. But like that's so dope to me. Like, the big boxes like that.
The best packaging I ever had. Yeah.
So No, go ahead.
Every other packaging I have is just basic.
Yeah, and that's fine.
It's just a basic solid color.
Right.
Which I was going to ask about. So how do you guys go about storing your shoes? So I see, Kyle, you have your shoes stored in plastic totes. Do they pull out?
Yeah, so it's a drop front. So what's nice is that, boom, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So it's great. I can see what I got, but I'll have to like take cover when I go to take something out. So
yeah. So Kyle, you need to send me the link to where you buy yours.
Yeah, no doubt. Buy them in bulk, buy them with a promo code, because that's the only way to do it. It's great. Yeah. It can actually stay like organized. People are like, oh, you like to do it because you like to look at your stuff. I don't care, right? I just want to have them organized. If we were, not transparent, it's still getting.
Yeah. So, and I know we kept all the boxes for our shoes, but that's because we don't have the storage containers. But
that's me.
If you feel as though like boxes. So come back to this. So if you felt as though boxes became a little bit more customized, like it had like say the box had their own colorway to it, would you be more inclined to keep in a box than you are to storing away? So
100%. Yeah. So, well, two things. One, all if it's special packaging, I'll keep the packaging, right? Not only because like, oh, like if you go to move it later on, like via trade or for a sale, it's great to have the original packaging. But
mhm.
for the most part, sneakers always do make their way into these boxes just because from a practicality, accessible standpoint, it's just easier. But
Mm-hmm.
special packaging boxes, though, even if I know I'm going to keep them for life, like I'll keep them. I'll make room for them just because
Mm-hmm.
it's part of the story. It's part of like the prior purchase that you made. So that's big for me. That's big for me. I love when a brand goes the extra mile on the packaging.
Yeah. Isn't that cute?
Oh, speaking of which, speaking of contents, do you guys actually keep like the maybe not the little paper and stuff that comes in the shoe with
Yes.
the shoe?
The cardboard?
Yeah, either the
Yeah.
cardboard. Yeah, do you keep all that?
I keep it. I keep it all
Yep,
the
yep.
time. Let me see.
Yeah. So, I used to not. I used to be like, yo, like, what do I need this for? I'm just wearing these. But like, listening to this, it's actually like a sneaker podcast, and he was like, yo, like, it's important to keep that because like the oils and like the sweat that gather in your sneakers, in addition to helping keep it shape, like that's important, right? So when you remove it and it's starting to fray, that means it's doing its job, and then you just replace them. There are shoe trees as well, the cheap shoe trees, just for a shape standpoint, but it's actually
Mm-hmm.
for practical purpose. So I used to not, but now I do keep.
Yeah, I do all the time.
I'm glad you do because my wife she throws them out. She's like, I don't need this.
Yeah,
No,
Dude, let me.
they're in there for a reason.
you take seriously.
Yeah,
They're part of this shoe for a reason.
yeah. And plus, like even the little the plastic wrap that separates the shoes in the box, she throws that out as well. I
Mm.
feel like I'm throwing her
I
into
keep
some
the I keep the paper too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean it's funny though because we've been talking about these, again, all is just like about sneakers, just as young adults, and I think that's another thing too, like the connotation of sneakers and sneaker enthusiasts. People are like, oh, like that's a kid's thing. Like, oh, like you shouldn't be over 12 years old waiting outside a store for sneakers, right? But like, again, like I stated before, everyone has their own thing. Some people actually appreciate the storytelling component. And then lastly, it's like sometimes you just got to embrace it. Like the amount of times that I've considered putting on like a fake virtual background because I have this wall of sneakers behind me, but I'm like, no, like this is part of who I am. And I'm like,
No, Kyle, if I had that, I'll be showing off.
yeah, and it's not even like, like that, but I mean, there were points, right? And this is within the last like 10, 12 months. This is not long ago where I was like, damn, like, what, what's this person going to think if I got like, all the sneakers? They going to think like, oh, I'm immature. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm yours, just because again, like how it might be perceived from the outside. But
Mm-hmm.
for people that are in it, like sometimes you just got to be unapologetic about
hmm
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the people that are like I'll say just do you, man.
it. Yeah,
Like don't even worry about what other people may think. Look, yeah, if your sneakers make you happy, you glad you own them. You the one that can wear them or rock them. They the ones hating. Go ahead, do you. So the one thing I will say is it just sucks when you move in places because you have to try to carry or maintain this whole stack and try to
definitely.
move.
Yeah, moving in and out of grad school. At the time, I was driving a little Honda Civic,
Ooh.
which I only drove up until like 2 months ago. I'm not gonna act like I'm mad graduated right now. But yo, it was tough. It was tough. I had
It
sneakers
was tough.
alone, in the front seat, and I was like, yo, I can't see the side mirror right now. But
I, I
yeah, it's tough.
I know when me and my wife when we moved into our house, right? It probably took us about 2 or 3 trips of both of our cars
Yeah,
fully loaded
strictly.
to bring all of our shoes from the
Yeah,
apartment to the house, and it was sad. But I mean, we own a lot of shoes, like
yeah,
especially for a female when you have, say, you have your sneakers, you have your heels, and then say you got some
Right.
boots. It's it becomes a lot. Men,
Mhm.
we got our shoes. We got maybe our basketball shoes. We got our dress shoes. We got them in different colors so we can fit our different styles. You know, it it's a lot of shoes. I can't.
It is.
It's a lot.
It is a lot
So
of
from
shoes.
an outfit standpoint, this is for both of you guys. From an outfit standpoint, do you start with the clothing or do you start with the sneakers?
Say that again.
From an outfit standpoint, when you're getting dressed, do you start with the clothing or do you start with the sneakers?
Oh, I start with the clothing.
Mm.
Mm.
But
Sometimes
it all
I'd be
it
like,
all depends.
yeah. Sometimes I'd be like, yo, I haven't worn those shoes in a minute, so
Yeah.
I want to wear them shoes
Yeah.
with something else. So
Yeah.
and
It
then I
all
saw
depends.
pieces together.
I'll tell you this, 9 out of 10 times it starts with the sneaker for me. And the reason being, weather. Big thing
Mhm.
on the weather in the Northeast, especially where you don't know what
Yep.
you're gonna get.
Hmm.
Like that is a big deciding factor for me. But I mean, and then there's a bunch of other factors. Just like you said, I haven't worn those in a while. I want to flex today. I want to be calm today. Be moving a lot today. I'm gonna be chilling at the restaurant today. And then
Hmm.
the clothing I repeat, enough, right?
Yeah,
But
me too.
because my clothing is very neutral in terms of, but the sneakers, that's usually, the boom for me. So that's why 9 out of 10 times I'm starting with the.
So here's one for you. Do you when you buying your pair of shoes, do you often, because sometimes they do you buy the pair of socks that comes with the shoe?
I don't.
Yeah. When I worked at Foot Action, I worked at Foot Action. It's right under the Foot Locker Champs
Yeah.
umbrella. And when I worked there, there would always be the matching socks. There would always be the matching hoodie, the matching pants, and then my fear of copying even a complimentary item from that collection was looking like the mannequin. No,
Ah.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So I personally do not purchase them, but whenever
Mhm.
people would buy them on my commission at the time, I'd be like, yeah, bro, yo, those are good. Bro, yo, you go kill the fit tonight. But for me, no, not me personally.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, for me, I at least at the time for a while, I bought the pair of socks to go with it.
Hmm.
It depend. It had to be something really, really special to go for me to buy. 'Cause I'm just gonna buy any pair of socks. The socks, they could be. I'm already spending like $200 for a pair of
Yeah,
shoes, man.
20,
I'm gonna
25
stack
Yeah.
dollars
on.
for a pair of socks. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm like
Hey,
stacking on, for a pair of socks that. Yeah, so that when it's time for me to come, when it's time for me to come wear these shoes, I ain't gonna be looking for these socks.
yeah, yeah. Right.
No, so I just thought that was also fascinating. So
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good one.
So Desmond, where are your shoes? Are you home?
mm, no,
Or
I'm
you
not
know?
home.
Are
I'm at
you
work right
Ah, okay.
now. I'm in the office right now. So I
Okay.
probably with our Slack channel, our conversation we started, I'll probably just drop some of the shoes that I own. It's not really a whole lot. So I mentioned the retro twos that I have, the retro threes that I
Yeah.
have. I actually have a retro threes home just because I felt like wearing them today.
Show 'em.
Black Cements?
Yo, I have cement and
Oh,
okay.
okay. I like those. It's a Calm 3. Slept on. Those also went to outlets, but slept on, I would say.
I
Yeah,
like I like I like the elephant prints on threes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Iconic.
love that
Straight up
elephant print.
iconic,
Like
yeah.
my threes though, my threes be hurting sometimes. I don't know. And I got my size. Maybe I should have went up, but
Yeah.
I don't like wearing them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
are most Jordans just uncomfortable or
I don't
is
know.
it?
And those, I only have one pair of three, and sometimes I just hate when I wear them. Like after an hour, I'd be like, "Yo, why did I decide to wear these?"
Sometimes I'll just be making conversation with people that I'd work with at these shoe stores. I'd be like, yo, like, I never owned, like, for example, Jordan 7s. I'm like, yo, they comfy? People are like, well, you gotta keep in mind that they were made in like 1990. I'm like, yes, I know. You know what I mean? But like relative to the time, they're comfy. But now with things like Ultra Boost, they don't even compare. But yeah,
Yeah.
please don't patronize me.
Yeah, so I would say that we probably are more people nowadays that go with the look and feel over the comfort.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's funny that it comes in waves too. I think that's when the Adidas Ultra Boost really exploded. When people were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait, I can rock sneakers and be comfortable for real."
Hmm.
And then that's when like the mid 2010s, where everyone was hopping on Adidas and they were like, "Yo, Nike, who?" You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think comfort. Not I think now we're finding the balance. Now we're finding the balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think another one of my favorite shoes that I owned was the Derrick Rose USA edition ones.
Mm-hmm. D
So
Rose.
it was either the time that he was coming back from his ACL injury, and he played on the Team USA at the time. So it was that Derrick Rose was one of my favorite athletes. I bought a couple of different of his pairs of shoes that he had. I really loved the very first one that he came out with because I thought that colorway and the look that was sick, and I always wanted to try to cop a pair. As we mentioned earlier in the episode, like how we like to go back and collect shoes that we missed
Yeah.
out on. I think that's probably one of the shoes that um, I would love to go back and try to get.
Yeah, signature shoes definitely mean a lot to a lot of people, and obviously the number one is Jordan. But sometimes it is a D Rose of like these generational athletes where you're like, yo, like I actually do want to latch on and not only feel like I'm a part of their path, but also support them too. The athlete themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to cop a sneaker, Taylor, do you go one in, one out when you purchase a new one? You got to move an old one, or do you just let her accumulate?
Wait, what do you mean? What do you
So,
mean?
say for me, when I go to purchase a new pair of sneakers, I have to move an old. I would really like to move an older pair of sneakers where I'm like, okay, like I really want to go for that Air Max. I'm not really wearing this Vapor Max, so I'm gonna sell the Vapor Max and then I'm gonna cop the Air Max.
Oh, nah, I
Okay,
don't
you
sell.
just rack
I
them up.
keep. I don't. Put them in a box and keep
Yeah.
them. I do not. Nope.
Another thing for me, I try to like really not cycle through, but I stay
Mm-hmm.
up on what I've got so that I not only know what I have, but whatever I do have, I've constantly got in the rotation. Right. I
Yeah.
cannot
Nah.
if I go like 6 months without wearing a sneaker, weather aside, like yo, why do you have them? Like I just took a pair of sneakers to a consignment shop the other day that I just
Yeah.
was not wearing, and I traded them for a sneaker that more recently released that I didn't get on release day, and I was like, boom, I bet I'm a rocking sneakers all the time, and then wash, rinse, repeat. That's my approach for everybody's.
Yeah. No, I never searched shoe. And one time in college, some girl was like, "Yo, I'll buy these shoes." She was saying she would buy my 11s, my Cougar 11s off me, and I just had to shut her down. I was like, "No."
You don't understand.
I said no, not happening. You're not getting my shoes. I don't care how much money you want to give me. It's just a no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
keep.
me, yeah, for me, I don't think I could ever get into the habit of selling.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, it just cause it look. First off, if I went through work to get the shoe, I'm
Yeah.
damn sure I'm gonna keep the shoe. So that's number one. And then number two, it's just I would say it's just the work behind selling a shoe because I gotta be. I feel like it's like if I got it, I might as well keep it. You know,
Hmm.
I never really been a big fan of selling stuff because I always always like to be able to go back and say, yeah, I have it or I do
Yeah.
have it. I ain't gonna say, yeah, I used to own this.
Yeah.
So
Right.
So that was a
Because
big
it's like,
hurdle for me though, because there are some sneakers like Taylor, you mentioned the Sean Witherspoons earlier. I had those.
yeah.
Right? I had those. Like I got them on release from Sneakers App for retail, and I sold
Oh,
them
that's
because
nice.
like I could pay 3 months worth of rent for these. You know what I mean? So I was like between the flex and the cloud versus a grown man purchase,
Oh,
which I
I
literally
couldn't.
did in grad school as a broke boy. Like I can live with not with the FOMO of like damn.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the
I'd
thing.
have to pick up extra hours. I'm
I know.
sorry.
Well, that's another thing too. Like, it's funny sometimes. Like your sneaker, like I guess you could call it collection or the sneakers in your collection. Sometimes they can reflect when you did and didn't have money, right? It's like, oh boy, yo, he was booming then, but like, yo, what happened to Witherspoons? Oh, I was down bad, bro. I was down bad. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, but that's another thing too. Sneakers can be assets, right?
They
So
can.
you purchase a sneaker, you wear them, and you still flip them for 3 times over retail. You know, and you enjoyed them, and you got your X amount of dollars worth of
Yeah.
depreciation value. So there's a big, big economic lens that these can be observed through as well.
I can't believe you sold them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was broke. There were no hours to pick up. I was working 2 jobs. You know, they were like, yo, like,
he was like, what more do you want me to do?
can I work OT? And they were like, yo, like, you already working OT. I was like, damn, I'm broke.
Dang. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's wild.
I just picture you like the X-Men gift where it's Wolverine and the lay in the bed, he's holding a picture. And on the picture it'd be a pair of Witherspoons. It's like
Yeah, one day. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny. Like it ebbs and flows. This whole sneaker game.
oh man.
Kyle, Kyle and Desmond, what's the most? How much, or what's the most? How am I trying to ask this question?
What sneaker did you ever spend on? You don't have to necessarily. Yes. I was thinking about this question too. You don't need to necessarily disclose how much you spent, but what sneaker did you spend the most on?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to ask you too.
Yeah.
All right, and let me think too. Let me try to think too.
For me, it was the Sakai waffle.
How much?
Let's see. It was. Well, first of all, I'm trying to remember when I purchased it because it is relevant.
Okay.
I purchased them in like April 2020. Like this time last year during peak of the shutdown, we're literally just inside, right? Mm-hmm. And I bring that up because it was right around this time where everyone's copping sneakers, like going back on stuff. Right, and StockX is backed up like 2-3 months. The wait times is wild on GOAT, on all these consignment shops. And I bring it up because again, like this was right before things got to like really, really expensive prices, particularly due to the Last Dance Michael Jordan documentary. After that documentary came out, a bunch of these Jordan retros and sneakers overall are going for prices that have no business going for what they are. So I say that to say in April I spent like $650 on those. And now they're going for at least $9, right? So like, you know, I look like I came out of the top. I'm still a bozo that spent $650 on nylon sneakers. So you know, it's what it is.
That's crazy. I'm trying to think.
I'll go real quick. For me, probably what comes to me in mind is probably the pair of shoes that I bought for T is probably the most I paid for a pair of sneakers.
Okay.
It's probably we paid close to $300 for the Starfish 4s.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had literally just came out at the time, and she was like, I remember she came in, she was like, "Yeah, where my sneakers at?" I was just like, "What you mean? Oh, you for sure really wanted those shoes."
Wait a minute, yeah.
I was like, "Oh, you for sure really wanted those shoes."
Mm-hmm.
And I try to call like, "Oh my God," like, "Yo, can you get these?" Beat slap. It's like, "Bro, you need to get these instead." Like these, you know, this kind of the shoes and everything. So I was like, "All right,
right."
I guess I'll just buy for StockX." So, and I just paid like $300 for those. I think probably another pair of shoes that probably was up there. Probably was at the time when they dropped was my retro 2s. I probably paid like $260, $300 for those.
Damn, so you paid resale for those?
Yeah, I think I saw. I know I dropped. I bought it when I was at the time when they dropped. I think I paid like I paid over I paid over $2.
Yeah.
I think my most expensive probably are. I think, but they're all the same. My Pink Pigs.
The recent comp. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And these are like $280, but my Travis Scotts are like $270 too. They were like $270, so they're both up there.
But it's also different because you wear like a 6.5. I wear a men's.
Yeah.
Common size in America, and in the world for that matter. So that's how I try to justify the purchase that I made.
I got you. I got you. I was gonna ask. So, what's the price limit that you won't go above to pay for a shoe? Like, what's your threshold?
Yeah, what you got to?
Maybe 4.
Okay.
Let me double check what I spent on these Sakai's. I just want to be sure. I spent.
But like, I
That was
truly want Sakai.
What's that?
I truly want Sakai's, and they're up there.
The key is to move a lot of stuff that you're not wearing, and then just start like a fun. So what I try to do, one of my boys, this is great advice from him, also works at Nike Massachusetts. He tries to keep sneaker money within sneaker money. So he'll take 5 pairs of sneakers that he's no longer wearing, sell them for $100 each, $500 in quote unquote sneaker money, and then he can buy that banger that he wants for $550, and it's really a net of $50, right? But yeah, these were $648, so $650. That might be my cap. Yeah, I got some point, you know. But I mean, that's another thing. Like if I try to adopt the approach of moving old stuff, then I try to use those funds as well. So like 650 might be my cap though.
I think I'm right there at Kyle. I think the most, if I was to buy a pair of shoes, it would probably be that $700 threshold. That'd be like the cutoff. Like,
yeah,
look,
there are people like, oh, like if it's designer, then it's different, but it's like 7 is 7. Yeah, and then it's all relative. Like, what was the retail price of the sneaker? There are some shoes that retail for Jordan 1s that retail for $400 because they use premium materials. They come with a dust bag, extra laces, metal tips, and then if you pay 6 for that, for example, then it's like it's 200 above. But then if you're paying 7 for a $100 sneaker, it's a tough ratio, tough portion.
That is a tough ratio. So, like, one of the pairs I am or that I want to try to go cop is the Fear of Gods, and I know they're up there.
Just go with
I think Fear of God is up there.
Just go with Saya Collective, bro. Let's do it. Let's do it. Better option.
You're right, and I can support
exactly.
a support an artist. So yeah. All right, so that concludes another episode of Capturing the Game. Except today we was kicking it with the game. So thank you for joining us. Thanks to Kyle and Taylor for joining in and dropping in with their sneaker knowledge. Please like us and subscribe to us and download our podcast, give it a listen. Please email us if you want to drop in and drop your sneaker knowledge as well. I would love to have future guests on, continue this topic, and just continue to share knowledge on the sneaker game. So everyone have a blessed day and stay safe and stay in tune.
Peace. Appreciate it.